They deleted every error. That is when innovation finally died. 1. Nobody noticed when innovation died. No explosion, no collapse, no war. The last mistake was simply deleted too quickly. No alarm sounded. No failure report was filed. Not a single person saw it happen because it was corrected before it was allowed to exist. And in that moment, something began to disappear. Invisible, but permanent. 2. The kingdom of Elion had spent 2 decades building the system. Every decision tested before execution. Every risk simulated before it was taken. Every weakness removed before it could become a problem. Bridges no longer collapsed. Companies no longer failed. Children no longer chose the wrong path. The graphs kept climbing. The council called this proof of success. But in the silence behind the numbers, the old inventors were disappearing, not dying, retiring, falling silent. Experiments that never reached failure. Assumptions corrected before they could lead anywhere. Irrational obsessions flagged before they could become serious. Each one erased before it could become dangerous. Before it could become anything at all. 3. Mira worked inside the Central Optimization Bureau. Her task: remove unnecessary variation. Each week, she filtered thousands of designs, eliminating deviations. She was the best at it. Until one evening, she found a chair marked for deletion. Unstable, slightly uncomfortable. She printed it in secret. Mira sat in that chair for nearly an hour, not working, not optimizing, just listening to the small sounds it made. Each time she shifted her weight, and something came back to her that she had not felt in years. Not comfort, curiosity. The next morning, she searched the archives. The great inventions of Elion shared one strange thing. At their beginning, every one of them had looked like a mistake. The first flying machine, the suspension bridge, the musical scale used across the entire kingdom. Unstable, inefficient, embarrassing. The kingdom had not evolved through perfection. It had evolved through what survived its own failures. Ivy, Mira brought this to the council. They listened carefully. Then the eldest advisor smiled and spoke. Mira, that is the past. We no longer need to learn from failure. We have eliminated failure itself. That, she said, is precisely the mistake. The room went quiet. Not because they disagreed, because they could not follow the logic. And that gap between what she meant and what they could hear was itself the evidence. The system had not only removed error from their work, it had removed from their thinking the capacity to tolerate imperfection. They could no longer hold an unfinished idea long enough to discover what it contained. For years passed. The kingdom remained peaceful, orderly, predictable. A competitor emerged from the eastern provinces, far less optimized, inconsistent, occasionally bizarre, sometimes failing spectacularly in their first season. Elion's analysts dismissed them immediately. Their error rate is unacceptable. But the eastern products kept doing something Elion's could not. They surprised people, not because they were better, because they awakened something Elion had forgotten how to want. A house with a room that had no assigned purpose, that became in every household the most beloved room. A handle that fit the hand imperfectly, but made you want to hold it longer. Value born from error. Discovered because of error. Elion had no capacity to generate that kind of deviation. By the time the council understood what had happened, there was no single decision to blame. No one had been wrong. Every optimization had been justified. The system had performed exactly as designed. And that was the wound no one knew how to name. We were not defeated by our mistakes, Mira said at the final inquiry. We were defeated by the absence of them. 7. The last record of original invention in Elion was dated 11 years before the Eastern competitor appeared. It was filed simply as failed prototype, never developed, never released, deleted. No one had thought to preserve it. Because preservation had seemed like sentiment, and sentiment the system had long determined was a form of inefficiency. Mira kept one file on her desk, a scan of that early prototype. Unstable, irrational, full of errors. She never corrected it. Because she had finally understood something. The system would never be able to log what a mistake looks like before anyone knows what it will become. In your own work, your organization, your decisions, your life. What has been quietly removed before it had the chance to become important? Not what failed loudly. What was deleted before it could fail at all. Those two disappearances are not the same, and only one of them leaves something behind. What would you protect? The perfect system that prevents all error, or the last remaining space, where the future is still allowed to surprise you?